proposition, but also get money in their pocket. And it's really fun at the sales meetings to hand out checks to your agents, right?
Yes.
And then the other thing is obviously then the agents get excited about the value proposition of that.
Absolutely, they do. Well, I think also the biggest thing is a lot of times people, the hardest thing is that they don't have answers for people, right? And so what we try to do is we try to have the answers for anything that the agent could possibly need. So whether it's an inspector, whether it's a roofer, whether like anything, we try to have everything in house so nobody is leaving outside our umbrella at KW Elevate locally here.
So one of the things that I would challenge and question you is who in your world, and this is someone when I was before I launched staging and design in my business, I had a phenomenal coach, and she said to me, Heather, who in your world has a gift of staging and design that could kind of be that person that you could refer to because you can't be all things, right? And I remember sitting in there and be like, well, there, who can I duplicate myself and who's and I'm not saying all of you have a sister, but I was like, my sister can be that person, right? So ask yourself, is there anyone in your world? Do you know anyone that has the gift or talent of staging and design? And maybe they could be that person for you. And, we all have databases, right? We all market our business to our database. If you were to go out to your database and say, we've launched staging and design into our real estate business, do you have anyone that can own that lane for you, right? And so anytime I refer business to Kelly, whether on a design job, I get a percentage of that profit, but my also my agents get a percentage of that profit. So it's just another thing that another layer that we've added into our business to bring more value to the agent, but also it really brings a lot about value to our buyers and sellers. Okay.
100%. But I think too for the agents, it's so nice because, if there's downturns in things selling or you have like a slow period or anything like that, the more you have those strategic relationships, what Heather has tried to teach her agents, it's a way to have additional revenue streams that we have been able to help the agents. So whether it's style to design on interior, we call it hard and soft finishes. So whether it's the furniture, which is soft, or hard finishes, whether it's tile or anything, again, we're just trying to make sure that there's additional revenue streams for the agents.
Yeah. So before I go into anything deeper on that, does anyone have any questions on how I have that set up? Okay. So I'm a design entity and then I'm a real, I don't ever commingle those funds, right? Everything is separate. And so if you're wanting to launch a design or staging arm within your business, make sure those are separate. You have separate contracts, you have separate agreements. Nothing should flow through your real estate entity. All right. All those referral checks, they don't go into the real estate entity, they go into the design entity. And the design entity is the one that cuts that check back to the agent. Okay. So just making sure you guys are all kind of clear on how you want to make sure you do that, especially if you work for a brokerage and you have splits. The last thing you want to do is have any of that revenue go through the brokerage. Also, too, anything that has to do with design, if you're running it through your brand, it is not covered through your E&O insurance. So that separate entity, if you're going to run any type of jobs or anything like that through that entity, it's going to have a separate insurance, okay? All right. So this mastermind is about renovations, which is why we're kind of going into a deep dive. So what I want to do with you guys now is I want to give you a scenario. All right. I'm going to show you how I went on a listing appointment, how I used the renovations to win an $11 million listing, and exactly what I'm doing through that process. Does that sound good? Okay, awesome. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you all. So the first thing that I did, and I don't know, wait, hold on one second. Let me get this pulled up. Out of that. Hold on one second. Sorry, y'all. All right. So let's go back to this. Let me share my screen. All right, so I got called for a listing appointment, and on that listing appointment, I knew that the property needed a little bit of work, right? And so one of the things that I did before I went on the list appointment is I really I grabbed pictures from when it was previously listed, And I wanted to go ahead and come up with some design styles and some things that we could do to the property that I know would give it a wow factor that would help them maximize profit. All right. So this is a property right here. You can see this is the before, and I identified right out of the gate that things that kind of dated the home were one are these columns. So I thought if I could square off these columns, give a little bit more depth to the architecture of the front by adding some lighting here, getting rid of this landscaping, making more of a little bit of a front porch. And then these pavers kind of dated the property. So I said, let me see how if I integrated some turf into those pavers, how it could really give it a wow factor. What do you guys think? Looks good, right? So just so you know, this was all done through the platform and through ChatGPT. It took me seconds to create this. All I did was load this design board. I loaded a design, I loaded the before, loaded one of our design boards, loaded an inspiration photo of what I wanted to look like, and I got this image in seconds. Okay? So very, very easy to do. So I had this basically in the hip pocket of mine when I went on that list appointment. Because when the seller asked me, when it comes to selling my house, what do you recommend that I do? Does anyone ever get that question? What should I do? Right? And I always go there with a comparative market analysis showing this is what your property is worth right now. If we were to update it, this is what we could possibly sell the house for. And I'm going to give you an example of how I used ChatGPT and what I did to create a proposal. Okay. So you can see here, looks pretty good, right? Also, on the exterior of the property, I noticed in the backyard, they had a really dated outdoor kitchen. They had dated pavers. They had you can't tell from here, but it was really ugly coping. And so I wanted to show them what it would look like to do that upgrade. So like I said, this is from one of our design boards and also through ChatGPT. I showed them how we could recope the pool, put new tile throughout the pool, and upgrade to an outdoor kitchen. Okay, so I used this for that listing appointment. I also showed them there was two options. We could integrate turf or we could just put new pavers in. All right, so you see those two options right there. And then I also wanted to show them how the outdoor really needed a wow factor. So I went and showed them how if you added some ceiling detail and changed out those pavers and changed out that pool tile, how that would make such a huge difference. So here's another image right here. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to show them specific things that would give them that wow factor. Do you guys think that anybody else, he interviewed 4 other agents, do you think any agents came to them with these ideas or visuals? So calculate, I ended up on the listing getting 3% commission. Calculate that on an $11 million listing. Let's just do that for a hot second. Is that a lot of money? So why do the agents not come prepared? Well, the agents don't come prepared because they don't have tools, right? Style to design is a tool that our agents are using to really differentiate themselves to the next level. But here's what's most important. When it came to this listing, I then needed to know what's the next question they asked me? Hey, Heather, this is great. How much is it gonna cost? Right? Don't you guys think that's the next question? So I have Kelly right here with me because what is important is if you have that entity of that person or that general contractor that you can reach out to quickly through ChatGPT, I'm going to show you what I did. Okay. So let me go ahead and stop screen share. I'm going to show you what we do. So what I do is I then have this right here. So this is their scope of work. And so what I show them is all the details of everything that I expect the property to be, and then estimates right here, right? So I went ahead and had this, kind of done so that way I knew kind of the estimates of what things were. And if Kelly, for some reason, couldn't get like an exact estimate, guess what? I go to ChatGPT and I ask ChatGPT, what's a range for this price point and this? And look, if you notice, I put planning estimate and current estimate, right? Because those can change, right? So I'm going to put planning estimate, and then what I always tell my client, So at that list appointment, when I'm going through what these are, and please know, I don't actually give them this until I have a signed listing contract because I'm not going to give away all of my golden nuggets. But I do want to give them kind of an idea of what costs could be. And I put this in a full scope of work. Do you guys, this looks pretty professional, right? Does this look pretty professional? Guess what that's through? ChatGPT. So I talk to my bot and I make my bot understand my value proposition and what I do. And then I just throw that into ChatGPT. So everything that I just showed you, those renderings, this proposal, guess how long that took me to build? About an hour. About an hour. Okay. Now, granted, the estimate numbers, the exact numbers, I always have ranges, and then I always go back after I get the listing, I say very clearly to the client, and it's in this document, these are ranges. This is an estimate. I can't get actual numbers until I bring my subs and my contractors into the property to get those exact numbers. But this is your range, okay? And they're always fine with that because they understand that I haven't had someone come in yet. So the second I got that listing contract, what happens?
Yeah, Heather contacted. We went out and we had some really good, transparent conversations. And since she'd already had a conversation with the client, she kind of knew that threshold, right? That to say, he's prepared for this. Can you meet that expectation? If you can't, I need to go back. So that way it was us going, yes, you actually nailed it right on. Or no, you might want to set a more realistic expectation, and or we can tailor this back to meet the need that the homeowner is actually wanting. So that way, one, it's a twofold, right? We were able to make Heather look like a rock star because she was able to get into the range that he was wanting to spend, as well as it helps us get an idea of like, oh, helping Heather guy to be like, we can accomplish that look, but we might not be able to do it in marble. We might be need to do it in a porcelain tile. So to give everybody options so that that way she can relay that information, which then makes it very helpful for the homeowner to make the decision whether they're going to do it or not. But the overall theme is that he was wowed by the fact that Heather was able to put a plan together. She contacted her list of her, she calls her army of people to go over. We were able to prepare that and then have the answers within several days. So she was able to present it. And again, everybody else. It was kind of funny because he is interviewing other people because I get to hear the backstories on stuff. And it was kind of like he had this whole thing over here that Heather gave and the next agent. It's like, aren't you going to give me anything? And they're like, well, here's my brochure. And he's like, yeah, okay, that's not what I was looking for. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it was pretty cool.
It's funny. I'm in an area that's extremely competitive for the luxury space, and most of the people that have sold in that area have been selling in that area for 20 plus years, and I'm kind of the new kid on the block that's bringing a whole nother level of value, and it's ruffling a lot of feathers, right? But I always say my hashtag in this world should be feather ruffler. But it's kind of one of those things that is, if you bring value, people will pay for it. And the next thing is all of the other agents came in with a much lower commission percentage for listing the property of what they would receive. And he had no problem paying me more because he's like, the value that you're bringing is like so incredible that I have no problem paying that. And so one of the things that I always say, in the absence of value, people question worth, right? If you bring value, they're willing to pay for it. And guess what's happened through that process? He's a raving fan, right? We're not listing the property till September 1st, which is great, but he's now talking to every single one of his friends to say, holy cow, not only is this agent doing everything to help me prepare for the property, but they're also, they're so excited because they've been able to watch the journey. So on the actual operation side, I want to kind of explain how this works. So one of the things that I do is he then wires me money. So you'll see I have him go ahead and wire me to the design entity. He wired me an originally like $120,000, right? And I'm then responsible for making sure that that it's being paid. So that way they're not disturbed. One of the things that he hated was that the agent threw a bunch of different subs at him. And that the other agents were like, you could use this person, but he had to then pay all these people and figure out this and figure out that. And I was like, no, 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 no. Just wire that to me. I'll take care of the rest, right? So whether it's a small job or a big job, I have another one that I'm doing right now that's a $15,000 renovation. It's very, very small, right? It's, painting, caulking, pressure washing, landscaping, like not much, right? But the fact that the homeowner doesn't have to go call these people and hire all these people out, it's a win for everybody. And I think if you can bring that kind of value to a transaction, it's really awesome. But the key of that conversation is you need a person, right?
Yeah.
That's really hard to manage yourself. Now, granted, I own a real estate company, I own a team, I own style to design, I own a staging company, I own a design company, like I own all these things. So I might not have as much time as maybe some of you on here. And you could do it yourself if you wanted to, but just know that sometimes it's better to kind of separate that out.
Absolutely.
But you do need a contractor, right? You need to figure out who's your contractor that you're going to work with, and then you need to establish a trade agreement with that contractor so that way you earn a percentage of that profit. And those of you that aren't on here, that's something that I teach and train a lot of agents that aren't members, teach and train the agents how important it is as a real estate owner is that you have trade agreements with contractors so that way your design entity earns that profit.
Absolutely. Well, and also too, I mean, anytime, I mean, listen, it's a win-win for everybody. You get to look good with your client, but then the contractor also wants to make sure they're doing the best job they possibly can for you because that's free marketing for them. That's free referrals. So it's a great partnership.
One of the things I get pushback sometimes from agents on is, hey, Heather, like, how do you get these contractors to be willing to pay you trade revenue? Kelly, would you rather have your construction company pay trade revenue or a marketing budget?
Oh, trade revenue all day long because that is with marketing, it's usually like, oh, maybe here, whatever. This is more targeted, right? These are people that are actually looking for help. A lot of times, what we find is people are just wanting somebody to be true. They want an honest feedback, honest opinions, like how can you help them? Versus somebody that's coming in that's just trying to sell them. Because usually it's a, hey, they just need this, this, and this. And that's another thing to discuss with your contractor, anyone you're having trade agreements, is to have those good, healthy boundaries to say, listen, do not go in there and oversell them. They need carpet, they need this to put their house on the market. If they want to do further stuff, obviously you can talk, but this is what we're trying to accomplish. And when you set that and you have really good relationships with people, they will do whatever they can to help you out because if you make them look good, they're just going to keep referring business.
Yeah, so one of the things that we talked about is like Kelly said right now, I mean, she came over and she was rattling off. She couldn't even on her hands count how many renovation jobs that her construction company has based off of referrals from us. So guess what? They do really good work and they work really hard. And when we call, guess what they do? They pick up the phone, right?
100%.
And so
7 days a week.
Yeah.
9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, right. Which is powerful. Now she's my sister. She has to answer my calls. But please know, I want you to understand that, Chat GPT, I know some people hate AI. I get it, I understand it, but listen, we've been working with Chat GPT with all of our design boards now for years, and we've trained it. I use it every single day in my business. I use it for buyers so they can visualize spaces on properties that they can't see the vision for. I use it to win listing opportunities. Use it just in my database. If a client has a question, hey, I'm thinking about repainting my house. What color should I do? Throw the color in ChatGPT. I sent them a text before and after. This is what it would look like. And they're like, holy crap, how did you do that? They don't even know, right? And so just little things like that are going to make you look like a rock star set you apart, be different, and, make sure you have your renovation team. Kelly called it my army, and I do. Like I have an army of people that work alongside of me that will help me get my properties ready. So if you haven't built your army of renovation teams, you got to start building it. Because, I've told you guys before, the National Association of Realtors says staging and design is the only tangible asset a real estate agent can contribute to a transaction to increase ROI. Every buyer and seller wants ROI. Everyone wants more profit, right?
So, funny thing is, this one right here loves technology. I hate it, right? She's always like, oh, the latest and greatest. I'm like, oh, I don't want to deal with that. So, I will tell you from somebody who I feel like, I'm the dinosaur when it comes to the technology stuff because it's just not a friend of mine.
She's the older sister.
Oh, shut
Older sister.
be quiet. So, anyways, let me tell you why I love ChatGPT, right? So, for us, when you're going in and talking to someone, especially someone who's like listing their house, and you go and they're like, well, everyone says I need to do LVP in my house, which is a type of flooring, or I need to do tile, or I need to do this, or they can't visualize it. What is so great in our business is that we take those design boards from style to design, and we do this all the time with the agents, is that we will just plug all of that in to show the client this is what your house. So when your agent's coming in here and saying, if you do this, I can get this, right? Dollar amount. So if you did your carpet and you did your flooring and you did paint for this amount of dollars, I can increase your property this. What's really helpful is when a homeowner sees exactly what their house is going to look like when that's done. And they go, okay, I get it. Because most people can't visualize anything, let alone paint. So this is what really, really helps people. We also do it even on, for instance, you have a challenging listing, right? Now, a good contractor, and I'm going to challenge you guys to make sure, we will go in and they will say, okay, I'm having a hard time selling this house. I need help. And we're like, okay, so and then they're telling us what the biggest objections are. They're right. They're saying, they want to know what this wall looks like removed. They want to know what it would look like with this, what it would look like with the cabinets painted. But it's really hard and people can't visualize that. So what we'll do is we'll go in, we'll pull a design board from style to design, we'll put it in chat, we'll create what that looks like, and then we will then go take those boards and we will allow the agent to put that into their property so that they have a before and after of what that looks like. And we'll pay for that. We'll pay for that for the agents all day long because our name's obviously on it, right? So it's free marketing for people coming in. But that way it gives people a visual, just like staging does, that is so important for so many people.
So what she's talking about, and those of you that are members know, we have the open house template of the before, after, and design board. So what Kelly does is anytime it's a renovation and our agents use it, her renovation company will actually pay for that if they can put their logo on it.
Mm-hmm.
So just so you know, a lot of construction companies, if they can advertise in your listing with their logo on a design board, she'll not only pay, she'll pay for that, what is it, like 35 bucks for the agent to get those boards printed. So, you can always ask your partner on the construction side if that's something that they would like to do.
We like to overcome every single objection. So when somebody's coming into that, they leave going, oh, well, I had 5 things I didn't like about the house, and you just solved all 5 problems. And now I see the home does have the potential that the agent is saying.
We yesterday we had we had an agent that took on a listing from an expired, and all she did was get new photos and use style to design. The house had been on the market for over a year and never any traction. She put it on the market. Within 24 hours, she had 3 offers, all from investors, relisted at the same price. Just nobody had been able to get the visual of it. So, and investors are the ones that were making offers because they were going to turn it into an Airbnb, right? But the investor didn't know that it could look like that and they didn't know the cost associated. So the agent not only did the renderings, but then also gave the investor the estimate of what it would be to do the renovations, which then made the property more advantageous to open up to an investor pool, right? So it's just getting creative and stuff like that. I do see quite a few questions in the side. Katie, do you want to go ahead and open it up for questions?
Sure, there's more comments in here than questions. Like Deborah Blue said, there's an article out now that says sellers are not disputing compensation. It is the list price. And that she found a concierge service in Atlanta that she partners with and coordinates all of that and invoices paid at closing. Um, Carol Diaz does have a question. I think this was
Let's go
back.
back to that really quick. Who was that said that comment?
Deborah Blue.
Deborah, you might mind unmuting yourself. I love that. Is that a rent, like they do a renovation loan, or is it a construction arm that is allowing to be paid at closing?
A construction arm that's allowed at closing, but they also do everything. They're all in one, and I've used them on 4 listings that sold under 30 days so far with and everything from cleaning to deep cleaning, moving furniture, all of that. I also have added my boards with furniture and then put that in ChatGPT to create the board with extra items they could buy. And everyone's been blown away by it because they're saying, Deborah, what color should I change the walls? And so I did all of that for them. And then the concierge group, they came in and did the painting and all of that. So it's made my life easy. And then all the invoices come to me to pay them.
So I love that. So you found your Kelly.
Yeah. Yes.
So
Yes.
yours is
I
just
would prefer it to be my sister as well. And by the way, what's your sister's name?
Kelly.
Kelly. This is what I tell my sisters when they like to say I'm the oldest. I tell them I'm the prettiest. That shuts them down all the time.
Oh, yes, you can. I've always loved having a sister with red hair because I always can find her. You know, you're in a sea of people. I always know that's my sister right there. She's red. No, but I think that's great. So we have programs where you can do like financing, but then the seller has to kind of do a little bit of like a credit check and make sure is it like a loan-ish through the concierge company?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's a very low interest loan, and I have 2 of them just in case they have a problem with one, and they go up to $50,000.
Yeah. So we have that as well. Ours is called a signature loan through our lender. But what happens with us on those signature loans, they can pick the contractor, right? So it doesn't have to go through that. That concierge company, you probably have to use their people if you
No,
use.
no, I could
Oh,
pick. I partner with a company in Atlanta that they do everything. You need
perfect.
a plumber, you need a handyman, you need a contractor, you need cleaning, you need a ride to the airport. They do all of that.
That's
And
awesome.
so I only have to go to one place and tell them what services I need. And then we meet everyone at the house at the same time. Painters, you're doing this. Contractors, you're doing this. And then everyone sends the invoices to me. I get them approved, wire the money. And once the work is done and approved by the seller, they're paid.
And you make sure that's through a separate design entity where that wire is going through.
Correct. Correct. Yes.
And separate contractors that are not.
Yes.
Yes.
Has nothing to do with my brokerage at
Yep.
all.
Love that. So
Mhm.
perfect. So
Good job.
yeah.
I'm learning.
Awesome. Awesome. Go ahead, Katie. What was the next question?
Sure. Carol Diaz, she might be able to elaborate on this. Something you were talking about earlier. Does that fall into the project manager arena where you are? I think here we would need to get a contractor license to handle that. Maybe I can partner with someone already licensed. Carol,
Yeah.
do you want to
They're like,
elaborate?
yep.
Yeah. We're
Okay.
a pledged general contracting
Okay.
highest in the state of Florida.
So yeah, but so Heather, you said the money is wired to you or directly to
My design company.
design company. Okay.
Yeah, so the design entity is the one that's handling the distributions of funds, but we're hiring a general contracting company that has the licenses and that carries the insurance.
Okay, all
Like
right,
there's a difference between like you if you can, which is kind of crazy. There are project management companies, right? They're just there to manage, but
right.
they don't hold the licenses. That's their whole job. It's like they're kind of like an advisor type thing, right? So on the design side, it's not that Heather is the contractor. She's kind of like the advisor, the
And
project manager, making sure everybody's doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing, but not physically doing any work that requires a license.
And my contracts make it very clear that I'm not responsible for any of the construction. I'm just a facilitator as far as a concierge to assist with the process, but any work that is not, I am not liable for any of the work that's done at the property.
Okay, so I definitely need to talk to my broker because we are not even allowed to facilitate a call between a contractor and whatever. We can give the information for, and we have to do the three, at least three, whatever, for our E&O to cover us. Like we have to give like the three referrals, let the seller or buyer, whoever, contact them directly. Like the only thing I'm allowed to do is give them names, go open a door for them, lock up.
You have to remember, Carol, though, it's not your real estate company that's giving out those
Okay.
referrals. It's
Uh,
it's the
okay.
design company. So if you separate those two out and you have a
Mhm.
design entity that is a separate LLC, that
Okay.
separate LLC, which is the design entity, is giving out the referral, not the real estate entity.
Okay.
If it's under the real estate entity, you have to give three. You have to have an affiliated business disclosure agreement and all the things, right?
Okay.
I do affiliated business disclosure agreement within my contracts that says I own a design entity, and that
Mhm.
design entity is listed on my affiliated business disclosure agreement. But the referrals for the GCs are coming out of the design entity.
Gotcha. Okay. And then when you, um,
The trade agreements, all that money. So the trade agreement is with the design entity. Everything goes
okay.
through that separate arm. And I tell my clients very clear, like, listen, I own a staging and design company and I have my real estate. My design entity is the one that's going to assist with the pre-renovations to get the property ready,
Okay. And
not
then,
the
so
real estate company.
as the real estate company, do you have to give more than one option
You do.
to
You have to
go
give
with?
three.
Okay. So you give three, one of which is yours.
Correct.
Okay.
And I always make it very clear you can hire whoever you want, but if you want
Okay.
me to help facilitate and coordinate, this is the company that I work with.
Okay. Okay.
My design entity works with.
Okay. Cool. All right. Thank
A lot
you.
of times homeowners are like, okay, I don't want to deal with it. Because
I,
also
yeah.
too, there is also confidence though in who Heather is referring, right? She
Right.
wouldn't take on that risk or her reputation if she didn't have those people that were vetted that have done it. So they proved on the small jobs, the big jobs. It's not like she would go to Joe Blow off the street and be like, oh yeah, contact them,
Right.
right? That doesn't
No. Yep.
make any sense, right? So there
Yep.
you also have to have that relationship and partnership to know if a homeowner's not happy and Heather makes a phone call, we're all going, oh crap, we're all going out there. It's a Sunday at 5 o'clock. It doesn't matter because we're not ruining this relationship because it is
Right.
construction. Everything happens, right? Things just
Yep.
happen. But it's how you handle that and the relationships that you have that are very important. So don't go and vet those people.
Right.
Contact their references, right? Like meet somebody, do all of that to make sure that who you're referring is not just someone you don't know or has never done anything, you know.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
look at their projects.
Absolutely.
Like I don't hire anybody if I haven't seen their work like visually.
Yeah. Or
Okay.
even
Yeah. That's
your
a
own
good idea too.
brokerage to be like,
Mhm.
someone had a great remodel, you did a remodel. Who used? You guys were happy with it? Can I
Right.
talk to them? You know what I mean? Make sure whoever you're working with, you vetted. Now, again, things are going to happen. It's just
Mhm.
how, and ask them. I mean, we've had clients that say, okay, well, how do you handle if something happens onto a project? Well, this is what we do. You know what I
Right.
mean? They go, okay. I mean, because we're all about full transparency. You're in
Yep.
someone's largest asset. You have to be.
Hmm.
Right. Yep. Okay. Totally understand. Because I'm kind of like, I worked with the team for a while and they had their preferred person. And, that person's normally fine that does all the work, but there was an instance where something didn't go so right, and then the clients look at me and I'm like, I'm kind of like, is this whatever. You kind of get stuck in the middle. So yeah, I just want
I
to make
always
sure I'm all
like
clear.
I always in the beginning of everything, like I always say to my clients, listen, when it comes to construction, anything can happen.
Right.
I am here to try and help make it as easy as possible, but we are going to have hiccups.
Hmm.
Um, Anytime you're working, even a new construction home is not built perfect.
Absolutely.
Everything is going to have problems. And
Yeah.
I just want you to know, and there's always going to be increase in costs because when we open up a wall, we don't
Yeah,
know
no.
what's behind it.
Well, and also too,
Exactly.
from the contractor side, you're also at the mercy of, like a Home Depot. Funny, we had was like, we need 20 sheets of sheetrock to deliver to this house. We are on a tight line, yep, it's going, it's on the truck, it's on the truck. All of a sudden we got 20 bottles of Drano.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So we went to contact Home Depot. We're like 20 bottles of Drano. We're like, we don't need Drano. We need a drywall. And it's all
Right.
on the POs. It's everything. Like, oh, I guess they messed up. Well, we can't get that for another 3 days, but you can just keep the Drano. What? 20 bottles of Drano. If you need Drano, I have 20 bottles at the warehouse. So, I mean, that's a true story,
Too
right?
expensive to ship. So,
It's one of those things of setting that expectation. Like we had
right.
the best intentions, right? Well, guess what? We're 3 days away now from getting drywall because there's certain materials you have to have delivered to a job site. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yeah.
Those are the things like, for instance, something can happen, right? But it's
Right.
also it's setting that expectation that that's not the contractor's fault. We're at the mercy of some other third party
Yeah.
vendors.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Great. Thank you.
Anyone else have questions for? I mean, this is what Kelly and I do literally all day in and out. So, and I mean, it's taken us, we've been we've been working together on this for what, like
7 years.
7 years. So we're happy to share any failures.
And we still like each other.
Just joking. I love it.
Now, I will tell you guys from the, obviously design work, right? That's what I do. I mean, I design homes inside and out all day long. So does it come naturally to me? Absolutely. But let me tell you, the tool that you have with Style to Design and with the AI, there are so many times I'm like, if I have to design one more bathroom this week, I'm going to lose my mind. Do you know how great it is to be able to go into a platform, go, that looks so good. I don't need to recreate anything. You put it in, you put your own little spin if you want to, show it, pop it in there, pop it in AI. And 10 times out of 10, your customer walks in and they're like, you're a genius. And you're like, no, not really, but I'm going to take it. And a lot of times, because, what's so cool is there's so many things that people will come to us and they'll say, AI, ChatGPT gave me this design, I want you to do it. And I go, it's not possible. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, they don't make cabinets like this. There's not. And they're like, what are you talking about? But ChatGPT said, and I'm like, well, ChatGPT is wrong. And so what's so great about the platform is when you have those design boards and it's an actual product, what you're delivering is something that can actually be done, not something that chat pulled out of everywhere. And I do it all the time because I'll tell chat, I'll be like, oh, well, that design was great. I need the hard, tangible where I can go. Oh, well, this is for design purposes only. It's not real. Right. And so then you've now lowered your expectations because somebody comes in and they're like, I love it. I want it to look exactly like that. And then you go, oh, sorry. Like, I can't do that. Right. It's not good. So when you can pull those design boards strictly from the platform and then plug it in, and someone says, I want it to look exactly like that, you can perform and you can deliver it. So that is one thing that is so nice that you don't have to be a designer. You don't have to have that talent or, we always joke around, call it a superpower. You don't have to have that. You can literally go in and someone's going to think you're a genius to be able to create that for them.
Awesome. Thank you, Kelly.
You're welcome.
Anybody else have questions?
I just have a quick request, like because
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot more properties that require some backyard help. So we do have a couple backyard boards that I used very successfully, actually, in my recent listing that sold with 6 offers in 9 days because
Yay!
it was a very rough listing. When I walked in there, it was rough. And I'm like, Lord Jesus, help me out, please. So I cleaned it up with ChatGPT as much as I could. We definitely cleaned out as much as we could over there. I did staging and design, 6 offers, 92.5% asking price.
Good
Good
job.
job.
So, and it was the second one, I actually built a relationship with an investor who owns 8 properties. So it was a rental, also super rough rental. And I did design board. My husband completed design project and, I did a project management. My husband did all the work in there. This guy have 2 more listings for me, and my husband is gonna have 2 more projects.
See, that's the way it goes.
So I might have been a slow learner, Heather, but I put it
You're
in place.
crushing it! Oh my gosh!
But I
Okay,
finally put it into play.
Katie, get that on video. Get that on video.
I love
This is recorded. So I'll have Philip work on
Yeah,
it.
it took me a hot minute to learn, but when I did it, I want to make sure I did it right, Heather. I listened.
Good job.
Good job. Good job. I love it. I love it.
So.
Awesome. Anyone else we can help with today?
Oh, besides the backyards,
Yeah.
office spaces, because I've been actually, it's my third office listing right now that I have. And it's also stuck in like,
Commercial?
yeah, commercial office space. And it's stuck in like 1970s with the bamboo wallpaper and the brown built-in cabinets. If
I
you see
bought
like
a
those,
building like that. My office I'm in right now was that. I had to rip it to shreds.
yeah, so if we could please, like, it don't have to be crazy amount of office space, but at least 2 more so I could choose from. Because I've been finagling between the 2 that we have. Can we have at least 2 more design boards
Two
that I can
more,
work
two
with,
more. We can put it on our wish list, right, Katie?
please?
Mhm.
We right now we actually don't, the platform's really designed for residential, not commercial. So we don't have a ton of office. I mean, we have just like home office, right? But we
Yeah.
don't have a
Well,
lot
I
of,
use the home office ideas
yeah.
for the commercial office space.
Yeah. One of the things that I have done is take our home office and you can actually put the prompt into ChatGPT and say, can you utilize these materials? And I load the commercial one up, the room of that, and adjust it to fit the commercial space. So for instance, there's one desk in here, but I had them do rows of desks of that desk, right? To
Mm-hmm.
kind of show the look for commercial. So you can give that prompt to your chat GPT. And those of you guys that aren't too familiar, just make sure you have the pro account for chat GPT and make sure you put your chat GPT on thinking mode. Thinking mode is much better for imagery. All right. So when you're in the search bar, there's a little toggle where you can toggle it down and just make sure. I think it's the second one. It says thinking. Make sure you're on that mode when you're doing your renderings. All right. Anybody else? Well, thank you so much for spending this time with us. Let's give Kelly a big round of applause.
Thank you guys.
So just so you know, she came to my house because I was working from home today to drop off my referral check.
I was dropping off referral.
And I go, guess what? You're staying and going to be the special guest on my mastermind today. And she was like, I'm doing what? And I was
He's
like,
like, it's talking about design and renovations. I was like, oh, I got that.
and then I said I'd make her a coffee. And so she agreed to stay. But right. Well,
I can be bribed.
yes, you can. Thank you all so much for joining us. I hope to see you all again soon and have an awesome day. All right.
Guys.
Okay, thank you.